Hello, my beautiful peeps, and welcome back to A Nurse in the Kitchen. This is your friend, nurse, chef, Maggie. I am so excited to be with you today. I don't know why, but it seems to me like I was with you only a few days ago, but I know it's been at least, 5 days. But anyway, today, as promised, we're gonna be doing breakfast. So you see the title, Breakfast in Bed. As nurses, we work so hard, and I think it would be helpful if our mates could understand the stress that we are under. How about on your day off, doing breakfast in bed? All right, let's say you don't have a mate, do your own breakfast in bed, and then, have one of those little trays, put it on your lap, and what you're watching TV, watching the news, got some music going, we want to brand this channel as the Stress Busters. We want to teach you everything you need to do to enjoy what you do and not burn out. So breakfast in bed today. So today, I want to do something different. I'm going to graduate to a glass of wine instead of my tea, because today it's in the 90s. That's what you get for being in Florida. It's only the late May, but it's already in the 90s. I thought I had a bottle of Riesling, but this is a Chardonnay. I love Chardonnay as well. So that's what we're going to sip on while we cook. All right, guys, so I'm going to start the potatoes. What we're gonna have, we're gonna do some scrambled eggs, and then I'm gonna show you how to make an omelet, and then I'm going to grill some vegetables, and then we're gonna not grill but roast some tomatoes. Aren't those pretty? And you put it on a plate, and you have some green and the eggs, the yellow. Perfect. Alrighty, here we go again. Alrighty, that's my favorite word, so I'll see you soon. So what we want to do right now, we're going to boil the potatoes. Now, like I tell you, I usually cook for a lot of people, but this is just to show you today. So I only got 2 russet potatoes, but you could use any potatoes you want. So I'm gonna boil those. I'm not going to cut them because I don't want them to overcook. And we're going to put a little bit of salt in our water. Usually when you're doing pasta, you remember salt like the sea. This is not the same thing when you're doing potatoes. You don't want it to be too salty. So maybe half a teaspoon. So that's gonna be in here. I'm gonna let it come to a boil. In terms of vegetables, what you may wanna put in your omelet. You see, an omelet is just you stuffing your eggs. You could do a host of things. In the restaurant, we used to have cheese omelet. You could have ham and cheese. You can have just veggie only. You can have some with no cheese. I also used to have a really popular egg white omelet. So you can buy the egg whites in the store, even though they do not hold so well. So it's much better to get your eggs and separate and put the yolk away and use the white. You get better consistency that way. Maybe I'll do some, like a egg white to show you. And also you could put smoked salmon. I had a couple who would come on Saturdays and they would want an egg white all the way. All the way means they didn't like bacon. They had grilled chicken, we had spinach, we had peppers, we had onions, whatever I had, and asparagus. I have some asparagus today, and we're going to blanch some asparagus. I'm gonna show you. When you have vegetables that are green, maybe yellow, no, probably green, and you want them to retain that bold green color. See, spinach, you don't need to blanch or do anything because it cooks so fast, right? So if you're doing it in an omelet, all you do is just put a few leaves of spinach, and that would be it. But if you're putting broccoli and asparagus, you want to kind of cook them a little bit so they're not too hard when somebody's biting on them. So I'm going to show you how to cook it, and then you put it quickly in an ice bath. When you put them in the ice bath, it stops the cooking process, and it keeps that green color. Do that for broccoli, you can do this for asparagus and green beans. Oh my God. Major pet peeve. You ever go somewhere and they're giving you green beans and it's all light brown and gray? Oh, so disgusting. So now you know how to do it. You're gonna know how to do it. All right, let's look at the asparagus right now. I'm gonna fix my camera. Okay, we are going to, I bought some asparagus from the store. Usually it tends to be like $4 to $5, but sometimes you find a sale and it was about $2.99. So you know I jumped on it. All right, when you're cooking asparagus, you want to get rid of that really hard bottom. So kind of halfway, you cut the bottom half and you usually throw that away. You know, there's nothing to be gained by keeping that. Unless you're making stock. If you're making stock, you can always use it. Okay, and then in here, I would do maybe, it's gonna be in an omelet. If I was gonna put it next to some meat, this is perfect, the size. But because I'm gonna put it in omelet, I'm gonna cut it again halfway. All right, because I just want the tip of the asparagus. Again, because of but I'm gonna save these, okay? I'm gonna blanch those and I'm gonna cut them up and put them in my salad. I don't wanna throw things away. All right, so you have your pretty asparagus tips. So we're gonna put it in some water. When you're cooking vegetables like that, keep an eye. Sometimes I will just let the water come to a boil, put the vegetable in, cover it, because that might be enough to cook that vegetables, you know, like broccoli. I like my broccoli to be a little bit, you know, with a crunch. So you don't want it to overcook, because when it overcooks, then that's when it's gonna get brown on you. All right, so my potatoes are boiling, so I'm gonna turn the heat down and let them cook. And I'm going to be checking the potatoes because I don't want them to be overcooked, because I'm gonna cook it some more in the pan on the stove and I don't want it to be overcooked. So the asparagus, again, a little bit of salt, a pinch of salt. You know, salt is not all bad. When you abuse anything, it's bad for you. But most everything is good for you. All right, while we wait for the water to come to a boil for the asparagus, and this is just for one omelet, so that's plenty. I'm gonna turn the stove on to about 375. And I am going to roast some tomatoes. Now, these are regular tomatoes, these are Roma tomatoes. And I usually use the Roma tomatoes. I wanted to show you one little gadget. This little thing here, this is to core your tomatoes. You know how sometimes you have to go with the knife and go around and get that up? Look at this. You go like this. And voila. Don't you want to go buy one? You should. It makes your life so much easier. Again, in the restaurant, when you have like 2 bags of these that you have to core, you do not want to be doing it by hand. Okay? So when I'm doing the Roma, usually I slice them in half. Okay? This one looks like it's got a little bit of green in the middle, so I'm gonna get that off. Okay? And then a little bit salt and pepper, and then drizzle of olive oil. That's all you need to put on them when you put them in the oven. And to me, it is such a nice accompaniment to the eggs. It just adds color. So I'm going to cut this in half again so I can have slices of the tomatoes. But you can leave that as a cup. You can do that if you'd like. It's up to you. All right. And if I was doing the the regular tomato, definitely I would want to just cut them, you know, like this, and just have cups. And then I would take the top here just to make sure everything was uniform. Okay? And you save all these, put them in your stock, put them in other things. Don't throw anything away. All right. Let's see. Beautiful. You know what? We're gonna put these in the omelet. Don't waste anything. Okay. Alrighty. So I already have a dish, a 9-inch dish. So I'm going to just spray the dish with a little bit of oil. That's it. We'll put our tomatoes in there. Oh, that looks beautiful. They said on the bag that these round tomatoes have extra lycopene, which is good for you. So I'm all excited. Okay. So we're gonna drizzle a little bit of olive oil on our tomatoes. That's it. And we just put a little bit of sea salt, not much, and a little bit of pepper. You know me, I love pepper, so I gotta watch it. Put that in the oven and watch it, because once the potatoes are good, it takes no time to make an omelet. All right? So we're just going to slice these and we're gonna put them in our omelet. Perfect. So we're going to, I'm gonna slice some onions, and let's see what else we wanna put in our omelet. So today, I think we're just gonna do a veggie omelet today, but you can always put bacon, you can put ham, you can put smoked salmon, some people put turkey, you can put anything in your omelet. So I will see you in a bit because I don't wanna waste time. Well, let's wait until we just put the asparagus in there. We could probably chat a little bit about our nursing stuff since we're nurses and we're talking about preventing burnout. How do we keep ourselves from burning out? I talked to you before about the qualities that I believe are vital to helping you keeping the fire going and the excitement that drew you to the profession. I was watching a video today and this girl was talking about taking a bath with Epsom salt and all your baths, with the beautiful smell, with your candle, whatever it is. I used to love to tinkle on my piano. If you love to do that, do it. If you like to sing, put some CDs in your car. Even though my new truck doesn't have anywhere for the CD, everything is remote and iPod, and okay, so I just have 2 radio stations because I don't know how to do the other one. Oh my gosh. I was talking to a couple of senior nurses the other day and talking about how sometimes we just don't show love to each other on the job. And I've experienced it as a supervisor. I have no employees or somebody who floats to another unit and they get ostracized. I remember floating to a unit one time. I was kind of new. I mean, right now I know how to handle it, but when you're kind of a new nurse, and the CNAs really were kind of sabotaging me. This guy was bleeding in the middle of the hallway, and they were like, I'm not touching him, and you just feel out of your depth. And some people are just mean. And that's what I said in one video. You have to expect it and say, okay, if they're showing me love, I receive it. If they're not showing me love, how do I handle it? But this person I floated to another unit, they decided to go, order in, and they did not invite him. And it's just like these little things that would, break your spirit. And you're like, well, I don't want to, my water is boiling for the asparagus, so in they go. And I would be watching it because I don't want it to get brown. So I think one of the things I can do for myself is to model the behavior. I go out of my way to be nice to people. I get there, I said, well, how are you doing? How was your week? If you're on vacation, I try to connect. Well, where did you go and what did you do? And how is, how the kids, and if I find out they like something, this is something they teach you when you're doing sales. You want to make a connection. If you see they love golfing, I don't know anything about golf, but I would try to talk about something that can be relatable. You want to make a connection with that person. So it doesn't come naturally to some people. Some people are social butterflies and they're extroverts, but some of us have to work at it. So it's okay to make an effort to be nice to people, to connect with them. So that way, if somebody watches you, I was reading an article. The American Nursing Association has a journal, and it said the burnout rate in medical profession for physicians, therapists, nurses is quite high, and they know the job is stressful. So what I want to do is to give you some tips to fight that, because it's something that you're going to encounter. So how do I try to fight the meanness that I see exhibited by other nurses to other nurses, or CNAs to nurses? Now, I read somewhere it says about how we deal with people who are not showing kindness on the job. We want to model the behavior. You can have a CNA who is nice and wants to work with you, who has your back. Let's say she's changing a patient and there's a wound care. Many times I hear them come and say, are you ready to change the dressing now while I have him on the side? They didn't have to do that, but they do it to help you. So why shouldn't you say, do you need some help? Do you need me to help you turn him over? CNAs appreciate that. And I said that, maybe I'm repeating it, and I apologize if I am. Someone said for Nurses Week, behind every great nurse is a great CNA. And I believe that we can work really well with our CNAs, but let me tell you, some of them can challenge you, especially they challenge your authority. They're not very nice, but my problem is, you may not be nice to me, but if you're not nice to my patient, then I have a problem with it, okay? So then I have to address it. So kill them with kindness. The ones that I know are difficult are the ones, with the attitude and the stern face. I go around saying, well, how you doing today? Is there anything I can do for you? Kill them with kindness. Don't treat someone the way they deserve to be treated. Treat them the way you would like them to treat you. Because they say kindness is catching. It's like, it's contagious. Just like people who are negativity is contagious. I believe kindness is contagious. When you're always kind to someone when they're trying to be mean to you, after a while they're gonna give up. They're gonna say, I don't know what to do with this one. It's okay. All right, remember, you want to guard your soul. You want to protect you, the inner you, so that you have something to give to your resident, to your patient. Because if you burn out, you're concerned about that that person is mean to you, then you're not going to have anything to give to your resident. And this is the key. This is the key for self-care, self-preservation. Protect your inner self from all the noise and all the problems. That way you stay calm and collected. That doesn't mean there are days that you're going to be tested. Nah, listen, Life is not a bowl of cherries. You're gonna have challenges every single day, but you have to work on those coping mechanisms so that you can weather the storms. And you do have some good days too. Don't not make it sound like it's doom and gloom. All right, my asparagus is done, so I'm going to stop right here, and I'm going to show you the ice bath that I put it in. This is an ice bath. I put the asparagus in there in some water, and I just put some ice in there. So when you do that, you're keeping your vegetables from going brown on you, and that's key. So to remember that next time you're cooking green beans and you're cooking broccoli and you don't want them to turn brown, you cook them to what you want. The consistency, you know, this is the asparagus. It's still firm. You don't want it to be all mushy, right? Okay? But it's not going to turn brown on you because you put it in an ice bath. And the temperature change, it keeps the cooking, it stops the cooking process. Yeah, little tips of the trade. Now, in terms of onion, I had sauteed some onions yesterday. So we're going to use some of that for our omelet. I don't need to put any, more onions. Okay. So I think my asparagus is good. Yeah, I don't have any meat. I don't want to put any ham or anything like that in my omelet. So let me get my eggs going. The secret to making fluffy scrambled egg is to add a splash of cream or milk in the egg mixture. Now, if you're vegan, you don't have to add that. But I find that it gives it that nice fluffy texture. The other tip for eggs is not to cook it too fast, okay? You want to, patience is a virtue, guys. You cannot speed up the process, okay? You want to make sure you give things time to cook at the right temperature. I know in some cultures we like our eggs well done, and it's okay. But if you were to cook for someone else from another culture, like when they do over easy egg with the yolk running, I particularly don't like that, but I cook so much of that for people, okay? Over easy, over medium, the yolk is a little bit harder. Over hard, the yolk is hard, and then you do your omelet. And of course there is a French omelet where you just fold 2 or 3 times over. We're not gonna be doing that, but an omelet is just, you put the egg mixture, you put your filling, and you fold it. I usually fold it twice, so I guess I'm doing the French technique as well. Okay, the potatoes almost done, so I will see you in a bit. Okay guys, the potatoes are done. It took about 10 minutes. It didn't take long. So now I'm going to put them in. I'm using a cast iron pan, but you can use anything you want. So as you can see, I'm dicing the potatoes about this size. So we're going to control the heat again. So it's a little bit of olive oil and a bit of butter. And we're going to do the same right here. And this is going to be done in no time. Alrighty. So now we're just going to season it. I'm going to use a big spoon just because I don't want to. I've got to be careful. I don't want to scratch my pan. Because once you get rid of that coating, you can't get it back. Alright. So, salt and pepper. To taste. What you want to do, you want to allow the potato to develop like a crispy exterior. So you don't want to move it for a while. So just let it sit here for a minute before you turn it. And if you recall, oh, my onions, I gotta put my onion. I already have my sauteed onion, so I'm gonna put that in there. If I didn't, then I would have sauteed the onion first. You don't have to have onion, but you know me, like I said, I just love this stuff. So I put it in almost everything. All right. Adobo. This is one of the spices I have in my pantry. And I also have that complete Badia spice, because to me it's like a green spice. So I put a little bit. And these potatoes do not need too much seasoning. Pepper. I think I did pepper already, but hey, I love pepper. I'm gonna use this. Okay, you see? I want the potatoes to be browning a little bit. So now we're gonna turn it. Make sure we get some nice and golden color on them. Because the potato itself is already cooked. You're just trying to build flavor and a color profile. So like I said, this pan is a cast iron, but you could use any non-stick pan. So I'm going to turn them because I want that golden color. That's going to look good on my plate. We eat with our eyes, folks. That cast iron carries the heat so fast that I have to be careful I don't burn my food when I use it. Again, you get to know your stuff. You know what you have in your kitchen, what you're using. So turning it, I want some brown, some golden brown. This big one here, there we go. I don't know, it looks pretty good to me. What do you think? Looks good, right? And I'm gonna put that on a plate, and I'm gonna show you how you can also do this with the shredded potatoes. It's the same principle. You buy the shredded potatoes. Let me show you what it looks like. Shredded potatoes, or you can shred them yourself if you have a mandolin, and then you just season it, put a little bit of olive oil and butter, and voila. Nothing too difficult. All right, my potatoes look pretty good, so I'm gonna take them out, and then we're gonna get started with the eggs. Quickly, I want to show you how to make some scrambled eggs. Fluffy, soft, yummy scrambled eggs. Starts with a little bit of olive oil and butter. Now with the scrambled egg, it is really important that you control the heat, because that's going to make a difference, and I think I've said that before. We're only doing 2 eggs this time. But yeah, we don't need a whole lot of eggs. Crack 2 eggs. Same principle. A splash of milk. If you're vegan, you can leave it out. It's not a problem. A little bit of salt and pepper. That's all you need. Fresh ground pepper. You know, imagine if you're using, and I know a lot of people use pepper from the jar, or whatever, the can, I guess you could call it. But do you know how long that's been there? You don't. While my pan is warming up, I'm gonna put the rest of the potatoes that I had. Oh my gosh, I gotta tell you guys, I had to go, these potatoes look so yummy. And I'm gonna put some tomatoes on the side. I was never creative with plating, so I guess that's why, you know, I'm not so much into it. But some people are really good at that, and I admire that. Of course, I was never good in art, so no surprise there. Okay, that's it. Do you remember the days when they used to tell you that eggs were also bad for you? And then a research comes out, not so bad after all. That's what I say. Listen to those research with skepticism, because they go and they change their mind. And then on the side, to add a little bit more color to the plate, we're gonna put some fresh strawberries. You know, thinking about strawberries, you asked the question, do we put the strawberries on the plate with the stem or without the stem? Some people do not like them with the stem. Some people say it's okay. The last research I did, it says if the strawberries are fresh and the stems are fresh, you can go ahead and leave them on. If not, take them off. I mean, I just feel like you can hold them, you know, with the stem. All right. The trick with the egg is that you want to keep moving it in the pan. Okay. I saw a very famous chef make scrambled egg, and he whipped it, and it was like really mushy and really thin. I did not really care for it that much, because he had it like a paste that you could kind of put it on a piece of toast. You know, to each his own. I feel like when I'm doing scrambled egg, I want it to be nice and fluffy, but I don't necessarily want it to be like a paste, you know. So, very medium heat. And you just move it around in the pan. That's the key. Some people like their eggs runny. At that point, it would have been like that, really soft. I have had people ask me for it like that. And I've had people to say, nope, I don't want it to be soft, I want it dry. So, about around this time, you can decide how you want it. You see, this is nice and soft. It's not, you don't have any red cooked edges. It's beautifully fluffy eggs. That's how you want your scrambled eggs to look. You don't want them to be fried. Okay? So right now, I'm going to go ahead and put it on the plate. The only thing that's missing on here is maybe a muffin or a piece of toast, but your breakfast dish is done. Voila. Okay, nice and pretty. So I'll take another pic and I'll see you next time. All right, let's say somebody asks to say, somebody come to breakfast to your house and they say, I like my eggs over easy. Okay, this is how you do it. A little bit of oil. And if you recall, I like to add a little butter to everything that I do nowadays. Don't know why, but it just does something to the flavor. And when you're doing over easy eggs, you can put 2 or 3 in here, maybe 2 in this pan. In the restaurant, we have smaller pans that we do individual eggs in. And then they can flip them if they want, but we're not gonna flip an over easy egg. Now, I do not like over easy egg, so I'm gonna do it just to show you. Okay, this pan is slanted a little bit. Now remember, it's all in controlling the heat. An over easy egg, the yolk should be soft, but you want the white to cook a little bit more, okay? And it's gonna be just like that. And over medium is going to be where the yolk is a little bit more cooked. See, I see the yolk is starting to puff up. It's like, no, we don't want it to puff up. Woo. All right. That's your over easy egg. Now, we really don't want this brown part, so we probably would, if I was going to serve it, I would take that brown part out. Because what it tells me is that it cooked, the heat was a little bit too high. Alright? Let's say somebody wanted their eggs well done. They said over hard. If it was over hard, you would want to flip that egg. Okay? So I'm gonna flip it and let the yolk cook, and that's gonna be an over hard egg. I know. It was really interesting at the restaurant. Everybody wanted their eggs a little bit different. But you know what? It was funny because if it was somebody from the island, I knew most likely they wanted their eggs well done. Like I do. I do not like my eggs, my yolk soft. I like my egg. And you know what? They would send it back sometimes saying, no, it's not cooked enough. Cook it some more. It's like, okay. Alrighty, see how it's cooking? It's still cooking because you want the yolk to cook through. Okay, so you get the idea. So over easy, over medium, over hard. So now we're gonna get ready for our omelet. All right, this is a fried egg or overhard egg. Perfect. So now let's get ready for our omelet. I'm going to change the oil because I don't want my oil to be brown. Okay, now we're gonna get ready for our omelet. And usually with an omelet, you're cracking about 3 eggs. So we're gonna crack 3 eggs. Just be careful you don't have any shells in there. So there is nothing, you know, that's not very nice for somebody to start eating their eggs and crunch, crunch. Nope. And you may ask, well, how come you can just hit it and it comes out? It's just practice. All right, ladies, let's not panic. And gentlemen, I assume there are some men watching as well. Okay, here we go. Now remember, heat control. Control your heat. All right. I'm going to put a pat of butter. I love butter. I don't know. That's why I can't be a vegan. And I'm part French. We love butter. Okay. In my egg mixture, I'm putting a little bit of milk, just a splash, remember, just a splash. Now, if you're gonna season, you're keeping that in mind, that if you season your eggs, make sure you don't season your vegetable or your filling too much. So I'm putting a little bit of pepper in the egg. If I was doing egg white, I would use white pepper. Okay, there we go. Salt, we're good. So I'm going to put all my veggies in. The asparagus is already done. The peppers don't need to cook a lot because I cut them in small dices. So I'm going to put the heat up just a tad. So I'm going to cook my filling and then I'm going to put them to the side and then put the egg mixture in. Does that make sense? A little bit of seasoning. Remember, salt, pepper. And now when you're cooking eggs, it's very difficult to get the right amount of salt and pepper. But I always caution you, it's better to put less. They can always add some at the table if they need to. Instead of having salty eggs, ooh, nothing you can do about that. Doesn't that look pretty? We eat with our eyes. So if you had smoked salmon, you wouldn't put it in there because it's already so tender and delicate. You would just put the egg mixture and then you can crumble your salmon and put it in there. I'm gonna get the cheese ready. For the cheese, I'm using a Mexican type, but my gosh, the sky's the limit. I love Parmesan, I love mozzarella, I love fontina, I love goat cheese, I love feta cheese. I mean, you know, when you are in a restaurant, people can pick and choose what they want, what kind of cheese, what kind of filling, and that's how you take their order, which was the fun part of it. You know, they had choices. Oh my gosh, I miss my restaurant. Somebody asked me yesterday on Facebook, do you miss it? I miss it every day. I miss my customers. they were more like friends. So this is done. I don't want anything to overcook. Okay? So we're gonna put those on the side. Then we're gonna get ready now for our egg mixture. Start over. And then, you know, when you're in a restaurant, you have like 3 or 4 tables. I mean, at least we had the grill, you know, when we just, you can do 1 omelet, 2, 3, 4. So it was a balancing act. Because we didn't have such a big grill, and then we had the potatoes in the back. You had to wash the potatoes. Sometimes you had the sausage going at the same time. Oh my gosh, it was interesting. Okay, so remember what I said about it's about controlling your temperature. So now I'm going to whisk my egg. You want to whisk it very, very well. I mean, not to the point of bubbling, right? And then you put it down. So I don't want it to start cooking yet, so I'm going to even lower my heat. I want to make sure that my egg is well distributed. Then I'm going to add my veggies. You see the edges are starting to bubble. Now when I'm cooking eggs or I'm eating eggs, you know, at night when I'm hungry, I don't fold it. I just scramble everything together. And if you want to do that, you can do that too. No one's going to tell you you can't. Okay? And then you put your eggs. You know, it's almost like doing a quesadilla, except that instead of the egg at the base, you have a pita. Is it a pita bread or tortilla? I'm sorry, a pita, a tortilla. And we can do quesadillas one day. All right. I'm gonna turn my heat up a bit. It's all about control, folks. All about control. I'm missing one of my rubber spatulas. I only see the small one. Time to go to the store. Alright, so we're gonna start folding. I'm gonna fold once. And then we're gonna fold over. I'm missing my spatula. I'm not really hungry yet, so that's gonna be for later. Doing this in the pan is more difficult than doing it on the grill. Boom. Oops. More difficult. There we go. Now the challenge is going to be on flipping it to the other side. Two spatulas. It looks good though, guys. Really looks good. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay. This is so easy on the on the grill. Yummy. Okay, look at our omelet. Woo! Now 3 eggs, that is a hearty omelet. All right, it's done. So we're gonna plate. We have our potatoes over here. We're gonna put our omelet on the plate. Usually you just slide it on out. Slide, 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 slide. Beautiful, beautiful. Beautiful. So you're gonna put your eggs to one side and you're going to add your tomatoes. Look at that. How pretty is that? Here we go. And voila. That is breakfast. Beautiful, beautiful. You have your omelet, you got your roasted tomatoes, and then you have your, we call these home fries, your potatoes, seasoned potatoes. Now when I'm doing the potatoes for a large group, I put them in the oven. But here it was so fast. You saw that. All right, guys, breakfast in bed. Or you can have granola if you want to be healthy with some almond milk or coconut milk. Or if you want a hearty breakfast on a Saturday where you're going to be working around the house and you need energy, this is it. If you are doing keto and you're doing low carb, that's, get rid of the potatoes. You don't have to have the potatoes, okay? You have options. All right, guys, thank you so much for hanging with me again today. This is Chef Maggie, Nurse Maggie. We talked about nursing stuff. Be nice, be kind. Don't get caught up in all the mess and all the nastiness and the negativity and meanness to each other. Love each other. You need love inside of you in order for you to love on your patients, correct? God bless you. I love you. Au revoir. À la prochaine.